Hey foodies, it's Crystal. Welcome back to My Gadget Kitchen. Today I'm going to show you how to make chicken cornbread dressing, and I'll be using my June oven. Now normally I only make turkey dressing because I make this for Thanksgiving. But for Easter this year I was like, how come I only have dressing once a year? We love dressing. I'm making it today. And this is what I did. So I'm starting off with some skin on bone-in chicken thighs. I lifted up the skin and I seasoned under the skin with some kosher salt. Now I'm adding some Montreal chicken seasoning, some adobo seasoning, some poultry seasoning, some sage, and some paprika. Once the chicken was seasoned, I spritzed it with olive oil, flipped the chicken over, and did the same on the other side. Transferred the chicken to a baking dish, and here I'm inserting the temperature probe because I'm just going to let the oven do the work for me and let me know when it's done cooking. I'm adding in about a cup of chicken broth, and this is going to make a nice, really rich stock for our cornbread dressing later. So I'm setting my thermometer to 165. If you're using a regular oven, just bake on about 375 for about 30 to 40 minutes. Here's what the chicken will look like when it's all done. I am transferring the chicken to the side, and do you see the stock, how rich in color that it got from cooking with the chicken? So I'm just going to pour that into my fat separator. And while the chicken was cooking, I worked on my veggies. I've got 1 diced onion, 3 stalks of celery, 1 bell pepper, and some garlic cloves. So I'm going to saute the onion, celery, and bell pepper in some stir fry oil. And after that's had a couple minutes to cook down and soften, I went ahead and added the garlic. Let's build this dressing. So I've got my skillet buttermilk cornbread. That recipe is already on my channel. I'll link it up above and down below. And we're going to break up the cornbread. We're going to add in those sauteed veggies, and then we're going to add in 1 can of cream of chicken, 1 can of cream of mushroom soup. Some people use cream of celery, but I never have that on hand, so I didn't use that. Now we're adding in that delicious stock from the chicken thighs along with some more chicken broth. I used about 4 cups of liquid. The amount of liquid you need depends on how moist or dry your cornbread is when you start. You don't want it dry, obviously, and you don't want it runny. You just want it nice and moist where you're able to stir it easily. It like clumps together. I don't know. It's hard to describe, but it'll look like this. So now let's season it up. I've got some sage, some poultry seasoning, some black pepper, a little bit of salt, and then we're going to break up about 4 chicken thighs and throw those in there. Mix it together and then taste it to make sure the flavor is good. If the flavor is good, go ahead and add in a couple eggs, and then we're just gonna mix those eggs in thoroughly, and then you're gonna transfer your cornbread dressing to a greased 9x13 baking dish, and you just want to spread it in your baking dish evenly, and then we're gonna use the last couple thighs to top the dressing, and then you're just gonna pop it in your oven uncovered and bake at 350 for about 40 to 45 minutes. And this is what your dressing will look like when it's all done, full of flavor, delicious, and moist. You see, that is not dry dressing. And if you're fancy, serve it up with my homemade cranberry sauce. I'll put that recipe up above and down below, and you are good to go. So what did you think of this easy recipe? Well, if you liked it, please give me a thumbs up, as it does help out my channel. And if you're here and you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and tap that button and click that bell so you know every time I upload a new video. As always, thanks so much for watching, and remember, get out of that drive-thru and get into the kitchen. Bye!